Recently, I paid a visit to a brand new museum that has opened up in the downtown Washington, D.C., America's capital. It is the Museum of the Bible, a fantastic display of the history and the translation and the preservation of the biblical text has been opened in the nation's capital, and I found it to be a fascinating experience. The mission of this particular museum is to invite all people to engage with the history, narrative, and the impact of the Bible. And I have to say that I was really pleased by a lot of the displays that I saw. I think anyone going to the Museum of the Bible will come away with an appreciation for the truth, for the historical story that is there, that the Bible is what it says to be, a book of God that you can rely on. That comes through very clearly. And I think you will also find a great deal of information and knowledge about the Bible that you did not know before. So it's been a noble effort. I was also amused by a lot of articles that I read. I had to write an article for Beyond Today magazine about this, and many other articles that were attacking the museum and its purpose and seeking to undermine the integrity of the people who built the museum and their goals. One of the concerns that was put out was that the idea of church and state was being threatened by having this Museum of the Bible right within view of the nation's capital there in Washington, D.C. I found that to be rather humorous. I think a lot of the lawmakers of the United States could do with a perusal and a better understanding of much of what the Bible does have to say about just basic conduct and ethics and even legislation. But that's another story for another time. The Museum of the Bible is very interesting, and the criticisms and the attacks that I've seen in some of the press from the United States and other countries has been interesting. We're going through cultural shifts in the United States and in other parts of the world in regard to morality, a Bible-based morality, a biblical-based view of marriage and sex that is being completely overturned. And so to see this particular museum come to fruition in the nation's capital is a very interesting experience, and I found my visit there to be well worth the time, something that I would recommend to you and anyone else making that visit. However, you don't need to visit the Museum of the Bible to begin right now an examination of the Bible to see what God says, what it says about God, and what that means for you. One question that often comes up here on Beyond Today, and we did a recent program on it, is which translation of the Bible is the best for me. I was able to view a few things at the Museum of the Bible that I think can help us come to understand an answer to that question. And I'll talk about that next time. That's BT Daily. Join us next time.